So we'll accept those ones. Okay, can I now then move on to petition 1247. It's by Stuart McKenzie and calls on the Scottish Parliament to urge the Government to introduce a McKenzie Friend facility in Scottish courts as a matter of urgency. I understand that Margo MacDonald would wish to make a brief contribution on this matter. Okay.
Yes, very brief. This is a system of support for litigants in courts which has been running successfully in England for a long time. And I don't care where the good idea comes from, I'll pinch it. And it seems to offer a greater level of support and a feeling of security for many people going into court to plead for themselves, and they're bamboozled by what's going on. The McKenzie's Friend does not plead directly for them. The McKenzie's Friend offers advice, quietly given, perhaps hands over relevant papers at the relevant time, so on. Backup work. I've looked at the response from Lord Gill, because it was referred to the Faculty of Advocates has said, we'll wait to see what Lord Gill's review says. And he's not all that keen. But then I think most parts of the Scottish legal establishment aren't all that keen on having lay people in court, and they're very, very careful about it. Now, I think they do so for reasons that I approve of, and that they want to maintain the very high standards that there are of advocacy and so on, and protection of the client in the Scottish courts. But in this one, I think that we could take a leaf out of what happens in the English courts and add a greater level of support for litigants who may be rather overawed by court procedure.
And Murdo Fraser's interest in this particular issue. Can invite that comment, and we'll specifically get further comments from members. Okay, Murdo.
Thank you, Convener. Mr McKenzie is a constituent of mine, so I'm happy to be here to support the petition. And can I actually agree with everything Margo MacDonald has just said? It's very refreshing to hear a nationalist suggesting we should follow good practice from south of the border. So that is particularly welcome.
Move in my chair.
Can I say,
given the natural political affiliations around here, we've been incredibly consensual in this committee over the last number of years, and may wish that to continue over the next few moments. Okay.
I should have left the pin in my hand grenade, Convener, at that point. No, I think this proposal from Mr McKenzie is a very reasonable proposal, and it makes a very sensible suggestion. The McKenzie Friend is there to provide assistance to a party litigant. It was interesting to read the response on the Civil Courts Review, which very much majored on the issue of whether the McKenzie Friend should be given rights to be heard in court. Now, as I understand it from Mr McKenzie, that really is not the issue. He's not actually seeking for the McKenzie Friend to be heard in court. All he's seeking is the right of a party litigant to bring somebody with them, to sit beside them and provide assistance. And there's nothing I read in the representations that really argues strongly against that. The proposal is supported by which the Scottish Consumer Council and Money Advice Scotland. I think that this actually would be a fairly simple thing to introduce, and I think it would be very much to the benefit of party litigants and improve the justice system.
Yeah, thanks very much. Okay. Nigel.
Thank you very much, Convener. Can I first of all recognise that previous contributors have brought out the distinction between those who are there as a friend and those who have a right of audience, which is one that I wanted to make sure we'd covered. It does seem to me, from everything that I've so far heard, that this is something which the courts could actually introduce themselves. I don't think it took Lord Gill to say that it would be a good idea. In fact, I think he's gone beyond McKenzie's Friend, as you said. And therefore, I wonder whether, in fact, the first person we should write to is actually the Lord President, because it is he who runs the courts, as it were, and ask him whether there are any plans within the court system to alter their practice, because it is he who actually presides over them. The government doesn't actually deal with this. We might secondly want to write to the government to ask its own attitude, but I think we should start by asking the Lord President whether he feels there's something he can do. I think he can, but he will have to, he's the judge of that, and whether he's minded to do so.
Sorry, the information I should have said the precedent has perhaps been established in the Scottish Land Court.
Okay, I invite Bill in.
Just to say, I agree with everything that's been said, and in fact, we've got a note here, committee members, and we've got some quotes from Lord Gill's review And he seems, although he's very careful in the phraseology he uses or employs, he doesn't seem to be against it. In fact, he seems to be for it. And in fact, for even in certain circumstances, a person being able to address the court on behalf of a party litigant. So I do think that we should be following Nigel's suggestions and also writing to the government saying, will it come on board as well?
There's one other thing, Chair, and that is Lord Gill, I think, suggests that it should be up to the Sheriff to determine whether or not a McKenzie's friend would be allowed to be alongside the litigant. Whereas in England, I think they have a right to be there. And I think perhaps you maybe need to get that one squared up.
Okay, I think you can again detect from the kind of questions that have been raised that there's a broad support for trying to explore this option. Okay, let's take on board the suggestions that have been made by members who have spoken on behalf of the petition, and also the members of the committee who have expressed views on how to progress the petition. Let's pull those together, keep the petition open, and we'll explore specifically the issues raised about the terminology for participation in court and also the role that individuals can play. Okay. The next petition, and I know that it's been a long session for members who have been waiting for this particular item, and I know that Margo MacDonald and Sarah Boyack in particular have expressed interest in speaking to this particular